the way.
Like, what do you mean?
Not sick.
Oh,
No.
it's been a weird cold, man. Like, so I could feel it like before Wednesday. I could feel it like 3 or 4 days. Kind of, I knew something was coming, right? Like you just get that feeling.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday. No, was it Wednesday? I think Tuesday night. I couldn't sleep. I had a fever. I was shivering. I was hot and shivering, sweating. Woke up. I had the worst headache. I felt like a truck ran over my head.
Oh.
I couldn't breathe. It was like, oh my God, like I'm really sick. And I didn't do anything that whole day. Then the next day, I was like, okay, I feel a little better. And I tried to do my normal walk just to get outside. And I couldn't even do a lap, and I was tired. And
Your
then
body was tired easy.
And then ever since then, I felt like I've had almost a sore throat and almost like a chest cold, but not quite. And I've just been exhausted. Like I could sleep all day, wake up, and I feel exhausted, just fatigued. I don't know what's going on. It's so weird.
Well,
But other than that, I feel normal.
We're live, by the way.
Oh.
I didn't mean to ask you that, like right in the middle of the question. I asked you a question and then we went live. But we're on Speakeasy News. I'm Shannon.
Yeah, I'm Clutch. Talking about my cold.
Well, and it's funny you said that because Arwen said he got sick Thursday night as well. Massive cramps out of nowhere. I hate that kind of sick. Almost made him throw up. So
yeah, that's how I felt like I was going to throw up on Wednesday or Tuesday night, whatever, when I was fevered.
Well,
it was weird, just weird. I don't know what it was, or I don't get tested or anything. So,
well, you know what? But that's the way you're supposed to. Your body's supposed to take care of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I know it's strange because when I get sick, I'm out for the count for like 5, maybe 6 days. I mean, it takes me a while. Bobby's the same way you are. Like he would have one day where he's just like his body's tired. He says it like I don't feel right, but you know it's not.
Yeah.
It's not so prevalent like with me. And in a day, maybe 2, he's fine. I'm
a bit of a baby though. When I get really sick, I'm a bit of a like I just give me soup and hug me.
I need my teddy bear.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah. Oh man.
I've seen jokes where like if when women get sick, you know, they just kind of get sleepy, but when men get sick, it's like they're dying. And I don't necessarily hope that nobody gets offended by that, but
screw them.
So hey, what's up, Clutch and Queen and Arwen? Richard's here.
Oh, hey, Richard. Hey, Arwen. I greeted him.
Our one consistent guy. Well, everybody's pretty consistent. My adulting is done for the day, so I'm becoming one with my chair, says Joe.
All right. Job, I don't know if this is an apt comparison, and I just popped into my head right now, but yesterday I watched Bad Santa. I've never seen it in my life. I never seen it. And I don't know. I just like I didn't like the idea of it or something, but I watched it. I was just in the right mood, I think, to watch it, and I loved it. It was actually very funny. and just when you were talking about Joe, I was like, is he kind of like Bad Santa? He always has these outlandish comments, and no offense.
Now, well, actually, Joe was the one who pointed out he was more like Bad Santa. So he's the Bad Santa of the group. We'll take it.
But you seen that movie?
I've seen parts of it. I need to see the whole thing consistently.
It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. It's like it's dirty. It's a dirty movie.
Yeah. And you have to remember, I think when I saw it, it was when my son was really young.
Oh, so I would, yeah.
Hence, we were kind of like muting and pausing at certain parts.
Yeah, you can't watch that with him.
So I'm gonna have to kind of watch it like now when Bobby and I don't get shy around those things.
Yeah.
Arwen, in reference to getting sick, Arwen said, instead of the average idiot out there going to the doctor and wasting a lot of money and time for absolutely nothing, I just chose to sleep a bit longer and I'm perfectly fine. And that's usually all you need.
I wonder what he means by money though. Like, isn't
well, it's different in Canada. Like,
no, but don't they have free health care too? It's a European country. I would assume they have.
Arwen, let us know that. I mean, I'm not sure what the healthcare is like.
Even though, like, even here though, we do pay for certain things.
Well, I think, didn't you say before that you guys get taxed out the yin yang, and that ends up? I've heard people from Canada say that their healthcare is free up there, and that Americans should adopt that culture. But
I don't think so at all. Like, you guys have. If you guys have two competing doctors, they're going to have to give you better service quicker at a cheaper price, right? There's competition. Well, right. Here it's government controlled, so it's just stagnate. There's no competition, no innovation, nothing like that. So, and then on top of it, we're taxed heavily. We have huge wait times and not very good doctors. We have a doctor shortage, and like our taxes doesn't cover eye care. It doesn't cover dental care. It doesn't cover like crutches or ambulances or splints or any of that kind of stuff. So like you're really, you're paying, you have to have a private insurance company on top of your regular doctor anyway.
Well, and I think people have to remember, like the doctors have to get paid somehow. It's not just volunteers out there trying to, help people.
I know.
The money has to come from somewhere. So,
they do have to be compensated.
Right. And so, I know some people have the concept like, oh, we should vote for free education. The students had this big protest thing years ago in America where, they wanted free education and all this stuff, or debt forgiveness from the colleges and stuff like that. And I'm not saying they're totally wrong or totally right.
No, they're totally wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, but those professors have to get paid from somewhere. Where do they think the money comes from?
Yeah, there is no free money. The government has no money.
Right.
They get it from us. And I was learning about Germany lately, just not only like the way it was in the past for them, but now, and they're like crazy heavily taxed, and they pay for everything. They're out their ass. Like they're constantly paying like for weird stuff that we wouldn't even consider paying for. So yeah, it's weird. And they have to get licenses for everything, and they're heavily regulated. So they might have free education, but at what cost?
Yeah. And hence the people never are able to save money for anything, really, for a home.
They can't buy houses. There's home ownership in Germany. Good luck. No, not going to happen.
Yeah. I've seen posts where people struggle like to even be able to afford food one month, and the other month they can't buy clothes. That they have to give up food to get something else.
That's what Trudeau is turning
you guys into?
Well, absolutely. Like, about our carbon tax, right? And it's a huge thing. Like it's terrible, dude. And it's caused so much inflation. And there's a tax on top of that tax. And then he tripled the tax on top of that. So it's like, it's so, and he's losing popularity so bad right now. They're going to have a conservative sweep. This guy, Poilievre, he's like so ahead in the polls. It's not even funny. And it's mostly like Trudeau has made it impossible for even regular Canadians to afford anything. Like we are tapped out. So it's even like purple-haired liberals who are abandoning him. It's crazy. I'm serious, dude. Like everyone is like anti-Trudeau in the country right now. You have no idea. The polls are saying like 75% against him, and it's more like 100%. I don't know maybe one dummy I know who likes him still.
I think maybe he has outused his usefulness, or has been what's a good word for it? His usefulness is expired to to as a front man. They're going to have to find somebody else to put in his place and pretend to be the new hero.
Yeah, and he has a minority parliament, so really an election could happen anytime. Now people are thinking it's going to be in the spring. There's going to be a snap election, but we'll see.
Okay.
Canadian politics are very weird, and you could like essentially be the prime minister forever.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, you don't have term limits. He could be one for the next 25 years if he could get the mandate from the people. But
wait a minute, I thought that last year or the year before he used COVID as like a reason to stay in office, but otherwise he could have got. Or am I thinking of a different country? I thought as a leader,
I don't know.
He put out some kind of mandate that said, due to the this pandemic, that we're going to when did that happen? I thought it was 21 or something, where basically he said that, because we don't want people going out and we're in turmoil over this pandemic, we're just going to keep the politicians where they are and kind of extend their term until things settle down, and therefore stayed in office. And I thought
it's not ringing a bell.
No?
No.
Okay, maybe I was thinking of something else. Maybe it was us. I don't know.
Maybe you dreamed it.
I'm
just kidding.
Foretell. Let me touch on the comments real quick. Arwen highly suggests that we never see a movie called Santa Slay.
Okay.
SLAY. You will literally not understand what the hell you're watching 3/4 of the movie because the ridiculous underlighting.
Awesome. All right.
Joe Morgan,
I'll avoid it.
An old video he found this morning about Lawson Firearms and how the ATF was mad they existed if they didn't ban importation of cheap pistols from Europe. The junk guns would have never. And he cuts off there. Richard G's chiming in. I pulled out my own stitches at the ER and got kicked out.
Awesome.
Oh my God, Richard. Just like with your teeth? I mean, what were you doing, dude?
I had staples in from my surgery, and there was a miscommunication, and they were supposed to be, I think it was like 10 to 12 days they were supposed to be out, but they ended up leaving them in for almost like 28, 29 days.
Ooh,
and they were like they were starting to grow over, yeah. And the surgeon, just on a follow-up, he ended up taking them out there. Did they
at least give you an anesthetic?
No, he just fucking pulled them out.
Oh, dude. No.
The worst thing was they had a drain tube while I was still inside the hospital that was like in me. And they like under the, and they pulled it out and it hurt. Like I don't know if it was a new nurse. She was like tugging on it and like reefing on it and it wasn't coming out. And like, oh God, it was the most painful thing that ever happened to me, I think.
You're like William Wallace getting your entrails just pulled out.
Oh, dude, it was so bad. It was so bad. I was getting mad at her. It was so bad. Like I was like starting to curse her. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you stupid?
That was the only time I felt a lot of pain when I had my son. I had to have a C-section and they used staples. And
oh yeah,
I don't remember how many days later, but they were like, "Okay, you're gonna feel just a slight sting."
It's more than a sting, yeah. And they're pulling it like it's brutal, dude. Like a pair of pliers.
Yeah. And I was sitting there holding my breath. They're like, "Remember to breathe. It'll help the pain." I'm like, "I just want you to finish, lady."
Yeah, just don't talk to me.
Yeah, stop telling me what to do and just do your job. Let's see. Arwen said they get their money back out of the organ trade from all the dead bodies left behind in the hospitals. Good God. Oh yeah.
I heard they do that with abortions too, that they take organs, stem cells, and that's like a big industry.
In fact, the one thing that made me suspicious when I was in the hospitals industry and the even in the funeral home business was if if I hate talking about this, so I'll make it quick. If a mother miscarries when the fetus is less than 20 weeks, it's not even called a baby. It's called a specimen.
Ugh.
And they're not even required to call a funeral home for that. They just take it to histology, which is a lab in the hospital.
And yeah.
And who knows what happens after that. So,
well, you know about natural flavor?
Oh God.
You know
you
know about that?
Soylent Green thing again? I think
it is sort of like that. It's from I think okay, so don't quote me 100%, but it is from a fetal body, and I think it could be kidney cells from them that they use. That's like the start of that, whatever, I don't know, chemistry they do to make this thing called natural flavor.
Good
and
God.
it's not real. Like it's not. You don't want that. It's in like Pepsi. It's in Gatorade. It's in like so many food products you don't even know.
So is natural, quote unquote, flavor supposed to be something that came from a body, like something organic?
Well, I think I don't know the rules for everywhere, but I think here it's like they can call it natural flavor if there's like a certain rule. Like it's not really natural, but it could come from a certain source that was natural. You know, like the anus of a beaver. Like there's glands there, and I think that's where they get. I think it's castor oil, isn't it?
Oh, I didn't know it was beaver anus, but I've heard something like that.
Yeah, it's weird stuff like that, and then that's considered natural. But after that, it's gone through like a huge chemical process, and but it's disgusting.
And and the fact that they hide it under a term, it is double speak. I mean, to call it natural flavor, then to say
I know they're messing with us. Like, and then if we put that in our body, does that do something to us spiritually?
Do you believe that? I mean, we should play a game.
I don't know.
Like, do you believe this? Or something like that. But I have read that where like they contaminate things that we put out for consumption to contaminate the spirit. But then I've also and we've known a fellow person from a live stream that we used to attend before. Remember Michael? He would always state that that's irrelevant because if you pray over your food every time you eat, God will cleanse everything. You remember
he's a Paulian. That? Yeah, he's a Paulian though, and like Paulians believe you could eat food that was sacrificed and unclean. So that's why.
Okay.
I don't think you could eat anything. No, I don't think that. And I do think it could have an effect on us.
Well, I definitely believe that it can have an effect on us. I just don't know about spiritually. I mean, because
what if it affects your pineal gland? Let's just go with that. You know what the pineal gland is, right?
No.
So it's
I'm not gonna lie. No, I don't.
It's like an acorn-sized part in your brain.
Okay. It affects my body how?
So a lot of people think that that's the third eye, and that's how. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yes.
And that it's a spiritual thing. So when it gets calcified or plaque builds on it, then we lose our ability to connect like that.
Okay. I was thinking more like
you could check it out right now, like what the official explanation of the pineal gland is. I'm sure that's not a very medical explanation I gave.
No, that's okay. Let me share screen. Hold on. Entire screen. And then I'm going to need your help. How am I spelling pineal?
I believe, I'm a very bad speller, but I think it's.
There it is.
Pineal.
Got it. And of course, third eye. Speaking of third eye, there's the first article is what is the function of the pineal gland by Dr. Anuvitha Kamath. She sounds like she has the dot. Okay. We'll go to Wikipedia. Sorry.
I hope Tara hears that.
Wikipedia can't be sold. All right. It's a quote unquote conarium. Here, the pineal gland, also known as the pineal body, canarium or epiphysis cerebri, is a small endocrine gland of the brain of most vertebrates. Okay. I might be mispronouncing a lot of this. So let's go into it. Produces melatonin, serotonin derived hormone, which modulates sleep patterns, circadian and seasonal cycles. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
The circadian rhythm, I said, yeah.
Oh, you said it. Yeah. The gland resembles a pine cone. Nice. Gives its name. Okay. Talks about the center of the brain between the two hemispheres tucked into a groove where the two halves of the thalamus join. I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds to me like you were talking about the third eye.
Right. Now, if that got calcified or anything happened to it and it wasn't be able to, let's just say it has nothing to do with spirituality and you couldn't regulate your sleep or your hormones, that'd be problematic on its own.
That's true. That's true. It also talks about blood supply. Most of the mammalian brain is not isolated from the body. Second only to the kidney. Okay, so it's talking about blood supply, afferents, neural pathway.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah, melatonin production.
Which you need to sleep.
Right. So here we go into more of the function, which has a lot of scientific terms that I'm not going to read verbatim because I'll just sound like an idiot. Sorry. Regulation of the pituitary gland as well.
Right.
Okay.
That's for puberty and growth, right?
Right. So what I was going to say is that in my mind, affecting our bodies with food was more of a health thing, I guess. You know, they're poisoning our bodies. We're getting fatter. You see the population of people, you know, just getting fatter in general, more health issues, living shorter lifespans. That's one thing I really did notice in the funeral home.
Not everybody, though, right? It's only certain nations.
Right. I was just going to go there, too, because the crazy thing was my best friend, she goes to Thailand, right? Because she's Korean and she's got friends in Thailand.
With the lady boys.
Well, she's okay.
I'm just...
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there, too. And I was like...
But you know what? Just a quick side note. I just seen this weird interview with Lady Boy, and they don't consider themselves women. Like, they know that they're not a biological woman. Really? They're a lady boy. Yeah, they don't play that weird game that...
So they're not like, I self-identify or nothing like
None of that stuff. None of that. They don't believe in any of that. They just think they're lady boys.
Oh, weird.
Which I, like... I at least appreciate that. I'm not advocating for lady boys, but I'm just saying at least they're not trying to deny biology and reality.
Right. But Joe Morgan says, bruh, I ain't fooling with no lady boys.
What if it's dark? I'm teasing.
Oh my God. Now my point is irrelevant. What I was going to
say. No, go on.
I was going to say.
She goes to Thailand.
Okay, she goes to Thailand. She was like trying to lose weight because she wanted to wear a swimsuit and all this stuff. She gets there and she's like, my diet's blown. I'm eating everything in sight. Forget about it. And she eats and eats and eats and eats. And she actually lost 10 pounds, like the 3 weeks that she was there. And she was like, I don't understand it. I ate like 3 times more than I usually eat at home. I was eating all the salty foods, all the sweet foods, all the junk. But it was still, and we came to the conclusion that the food there is not as processed. processed, pasteurized, and whatever else they do to it. So
your guys' food is actually the worst in the world, America. Like, you guys have chemicals in yours that we don't allow here. Dude, and Europe is even more stringent than Canada.
Right.
So
the cheese
that's crazy.
Doesn't even melt here. If you set cheese on fire, it just burns like a log. It's like a fossil fuel. It's so crazy. Let's see. They're talking about chat's talking about if you consume sodium fluoride from water and toothpaste, your pineal gland will calcify, numb your senses, and make you naturally docile. Consuming purified lodine decalcifies the pineal gland. I've never heard of purified lodine, but I got to look into that.
Iodine? Lodine.
Lodine.
Do you mean Lodi or iodine?
It's spelled Lodine. That's how he spelled it.
Lodine. Yeah. Okay.
But I agree with Arwen. This is why I hardly ever use. I don't use toothpaste unless maybe a little bit of that fluoride-free stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
it just sounded funny. Sorry.
Well, it's true. I mean, think about it. Why
it's true.
It tastes so good? Because it's got sugar in it too. How's that gonna? It doesn't.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And so,
everything's a grift. That's the problem right now. It's like we are the most propagandized people in the world, and everything we're being told is a grift from everyone's got an angle, everyone's making a buck, and they don't want to solve a problem. Let's say they could stop drugs coming across the border right frickin' now. But then you're going to have a lot of DEA agents who are not working. You're going to have a lot of judges and lawyers are out of work. A lot of social workers are out of work. There's a whole fucking industry just around that.
Yeah.
Jail guards, cops, like it. Why would they solve that? Why would they want to solve that?
because they got to keep jobs open. I got to make 2 points real quick. First of all, I read it wrong. It was a capital I, so it is
iodine.
Right. Arwen was like capital letter I, and so sorry, Arwen. It just looked like a lowercase L. And then you got me thinking about that stuff a lot, especially out here where there is just massive rivers everywhere. And then I just paid almost $400 for my last power bill. And I remember you asking, like, why are we not using hydropower more out here? Because didn't you say you guys do?
Well, not every province. Like my province specifically has the most, I think, hydroelectric dams.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have a huge northern area where I guess when you build them, you have to flood areas out. So I guess that's part of the problem as well.
Well,
but it's clean. It is clean energy, and it's very cheap.
I'm kind of having a hankering.
Why not
to buy a place that has a little stream or a river and kind of learn to build one?
They're not hard. Yeah, you can build a water wheel, and that'll power everything.
You say it's not hard, but I'm very mechanically stupid. So
I mean, if I could do it, you could do it. And I'm no mechanic or carpenter.
YouTube. I'm gonna have to go YouTube.
That's what I do, dude. You know how many things I fixed because of YouTube? I'm not joking.
Yeah.
That's what started me using YouTube.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I YouTube something. I think it was I needed to fix a hot water tank at my old house.
Yeah.
And it was a valve. All I had to do is lift this valve.
Well,
I changed it. I changed the whole valve, but whatever. It was
you wouldn't have had the confidence to do it unless you saw a few YouTube videos to get a good understanding.
I stopped that video and watched it and did something and then played it, and I just kept doing that.
Yeah. I remember our last house, we had an outlet blow, and we were getting to the point where that outlet was connected to all the other outlets in the room. So every once in a while, everything would go out. The
too much load on the circuit. Yeah.
Yeah. And literally Bobby watched a YouTube video and went to the store, bought the part, replaced it, problem solved. And I was too intimidated because I'm not an electrician. I've never messed with wires, and I have a phobia of being shocked or burned. And I was too nervous to even get near
There's something else that I did with YouTube. I don't want to say it on the live. You'll know why later. But get me to remind me to tell you. I think you'll find it interesting.
Is it something we can maybe share with everybody later, or?
It's nothing bad. It's just something I don't want to share with anyone. Actually,
okay, I see.
You'll know why later. You'll understand.
All right. I'm seeing the comments rolling in. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, no, you're good at that.
I know. It's up on the big screen. So if Joe says if he doesn't use toothpaste, his breath be stankin'. He said his dad's generation smoked, drank, swore, carried a handgun, picked fights, and used needle drugs, and had asbestos and everything, ate bad food, yet they all lived long lives. I noticed that. That is a true statement. Like, remember the dad on Grumpy Old Men? Have you ever seen Grumpy Old Men? Please tell me you saw it.
Yeah, I think I have.
Oh, the dad's sitting there fishing. He's holding a beer, drinking a cigarette. And he says, I've eaten bacon all my life and stuff. He's talking about how he's just outlived everybody, and he smokes and he drinks. And it's just...
Dude, all my grandparents except one lived, like one guy, he died of like a bunch of strokes because he was a hardcore alcoholic. But, but the rest, who also all drank lots and probably would... you might think, like, who knows, alcoholics, smoked, ate bacon. One of my grandmas, probably both of them, probably my grandpas too, they were alive during the Depression. They told me, at least one told me that she ate lard sandwiches. Like, that was her actual lunch. Like, they lived hard lives, and all of them lived past their 80s, like pretty much into their 90s. Right. So, like, what the heck?
Those people like fought wars, got shot,
by
tractors. They were indestructible. And now when I was working at the funeral home, all I was seeing was 42-year-olds dying of obesity. It's just it was crazy. I was like, what?
That's one thing I can never, like, I have a hard time understanding is you ate so much and you've done so little that you're so fat you can't see your fucking your feet. Like you're.
I thought you were gonna say something.
I was gonna. I cleaned myself up. But like, how crazy is that, man?
Well,
like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
It's the frame of mind to me. I think it's the frame of mind that these people are being raised with. I mean, they have the entitlement that, I am entitled to eat what I want and do what I want, and then the government.
You still have. You don't have chores. Like, you don't mow the lawn. You don't go for a walk. You don't.
Have you seen the places these people live in?
I can't understand it. Like, I could be dying of like cancer, herpes, AIDS, Alzheimer's, diabetes, like everything at once, and I would still want to get up and like go for a walk or sweep my floor, like
they would
something. I don't know. I can't understand it. I really can't. And to keep eating like that.
Yeah.
Like I get a little full and I'm like, oh God, like I'm a fat bastard. Why did I do that? And I just ate like one extra hamburger. I don't know, whatever, like I don't know. I just can't. To keep just stuffing yourself like that is so crazy to me.
Well, that's kind of what they are talking about in the chat too. If you keep yourself chemical free, you will still get sick, but the sickness will not age you nearly as much. That's from Arwen. Richard said, Clutch, our community voted no for a safe drug use facility, and they are still going ahead. What the fuck?
That's a thing I've seen lots of. And I can't remember, and I'm going to kick myself for it, but there was somewhere in the States, they just fired their entire town council and locked the doors and changed the locks on them and re-voted and got new people in because they didn't want to have a Chinese factory in their town, and the council just like, fuck you, and went ahead with it anyway. And they are like, no. They're like, no. And they fired their entire council, kick them out, lock the doors.
Well, that's actually good, though. I mean,
yeah, it's good. And there's like places that are doing that all over, like just small towns, small groups are like, no, we're standing up to it, and we're gonna, because people are doing exactly that. They're just going ahead with stuff against the will of the people.
That is the perfect example of power of the masses, and a lot of people don't get that, I guess. And you and I have touched on that. Like, what are we going to do as individuals? Well, you find like-minded individuals that will stand up with you, but
that's what you do.
Grand scale.
I bounce back and forth with that.
I know.
Like, do we do something, or do we just let it ride? And because like if you start doing something, the eye of Sauron's going to look on you, right? And then you're going to have problems. But I think of that meme, just like you said, there's a good meme where there's a cliff and a politician on a pulpit, and he's on a board over the side of the cliff. And on the other side of the board, on the ground part, is all the people. All the people are standing on the board, keeping them balanced, right? So yeah, all they have to do is walk off, and he'll fall.
Yeah, I remember we had concluded that conversation by saying it would be a situation where we pick our battles. I mean, what is worth,
I guess doing this is we're kind of doing something, like
we are
not really, but we're saying things that are anti-establishment, and people are gonna hear it.
That's true. And and people in the chat are, they got their like-minded opinions too. Let's see. I'm kind of looking over the comments too. Richard said his Uncle Joe drank aftershave and cologne and lived to 90. Never went to Why would he drink aftershave, Richard? What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know, Richard, but I know that there's a thing here with especially with Native Canadians, it seems to be more prevalent, where they drink mouthwash, aftershave, stuff like that, because it's cheap and they can get it anywhere.
Does it give you a buzz or get you drunk?
Yeah, there's alcohol in it, so it fucks them up.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
They also huff gas. They put gas on a rag or in a bag or in their sleeve, and then they just smell it.
Yeah.
It's called huffing. And they get wrecked on that, dude.
That's funny because my dad, I have this story that my dad told me when he was in the military. There were young troops. What is this, 1954 maybe? They were told they could no longer buy aftershave, or cologne. And it was because I guess maybe these troops were trying to drink and get drunk.
Yeah.
So the smart ass that my father was, I'm so proud of him. He went and bought a stick of deodorant and took a big bite out of it, started laughing in front of the first sergeant, and everybody, he said he threw it up later, but he sat there and ate nearly the whole stick just to prove a point, just to be an idiot. But
that's awesome. That stuff's like, I don't know if I ever told you, but like I had a pretty bad mom, and one of the punishments she would make me do is eat soap. And like, it would be for stupid stuff, like not even like swearing. Like I was a little kid there. What could I have really, whatever. I don't want to get into it, but
they did that to me
one time,
in elementary.
They did liquid soap. She did liquid soap one time. And dude, I was like throwing up, and every time I would throw up, I'd throw up bubbles because of the horrible. And you'd taste it, and like bubbles would come out. Oh, fucking brutal, man. What a bitch.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's funny.
I know, it's like now, but wasn't then, I'll tell you.
Bubbles coming out your ears and nose.
Oh, man, it was horrible.
Oh, my God.
And the other thing I was thinking is I just watched this movie about like old-time gangsters, and I guess I knew, but I didn't really think about it. Do you know where all the speakeasies got their booze from when you guys had Prohibition?
No, I don't.
Canada.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah, they were smuggling it from Canada.
I didn't know that.
I had known it, but like never really.
I would have thought more like Mexico. I mean, just...
No, think all those cities that were doing it, like New York and Chicago, where like all the gangster activity was. That's all at the border, right? That's all by Buffalo, Toronto, that whole area, Detroit, all those. I guess on our side be like Hamilton, Toronto, whatever, London, all those cities.
Wow. No,
and it was legal here, so you guys just buy it legally here, and then there you go.
Across, yeah. You know what I just found out this week? I was talking to my boss, and he's a huge Baltimore Ravens fan. For those that don't know,
football.
It's a football team in Massachusetts, Maryland. Babe, where are the Baltimore Ravens from?
Baltimore.
So Maryland. Okay. Yeah, Maryland. And he said it sucked because they got all excited. They got there and they wanted to buy alcohol and found out it was a dry state. I had no idea that still existed out here. And
we have dry towns and dry communities here.
Really?
Especially, like because we have Hutterites here and Mennonites. They have their own communities where they're like your Amish, so they don't allow that, and they have their own schools. It's like their own little town, but they do come into regular like places. And then we also have Native communities where, because alcoholism's so bad there, they ban alcohol in some of the reserves.
Well, we have Mennonites and stuff in like Kentucky and Virginia and all that, but it's not the state. The state isn't a dry state. It just, I don't know. I guess it was just a weird concept to me. I was like, so what did you do? And I guess they could still sell alcohol at the liquor store because after the pandemic, it was, I guess, found to be a necessary thing for the alcoholics, right?
Yeah, same here. They kept all the booze stores open. They're like, well, if we close them, all the alcoholics will
they'll die.
Yeah, so we got to keep those open. That's a necessity. It's like, what and you know who sells alcohol here? The government. There's no real privatized alcohol here. It's all government. Wow. Yeah. So what the fuck? You shitty.
Are we really surprised? Let's see. Moxie says the same government that pays you to lie on your back every day. I think there was a conversation. There's lots of conversation before that too. Joe Morgan said a lot of this hystolic garbage is a byproduct of the war on drugs. Denatured alcohol is terrible for your body. I can only imagine the hangover on that. That's true. I wonder what kind of a hangover do you get drinking cologne?
Dude, those guys get real sick. They don't look healthy.
Yeah. And then Arwen said, WTF clutch, that is literal child abuse. I think he's talking about the soap thing. Oh,
yeah. Dude, that's not even the worst of it. Like, you don't know.
I remember
you have no idea.
We compared notes about kneeling on rice when we had got in trouble.
Yeah. I didn't know anybody else ever had that. Like, I was like, this is what it's like when doves cry. I like, no one ever experienced that. You're the only other person I know who's ever gone through that.
And it wasn't
it's torture. It was torture.
Mental, the mental anxiety beforehand. I think that was the thing. Like knowing, like what is she gonna come up with today? You know what I mean?
Dude, and like I'm thinking back, like what did I do that was so, like, I didn't do anything. Like because I have little kids now, like, and I think, like, what the hell would they do that would make me like put soap in their mouth or make them kneel on rice? Like, what? There's nothing. Like, there's there's nothing they would do. The worst thing, I'd be like, okay, you're going to your room. You're out of control.
Or
get out of here.
Away, like, okay, you're not going to little Johnny's birthday party next week.
That's right. Like, I'm not gonna hit them and hey, you're kneeling. I'm not gonna torture you now physically.
Hang them upside down and
like
belt them.
Like, what the? Just crazy.
Well,
crazy.
It was, but the wonderful thing is, though, I never I never wish otherwise, because I kind of feel like if I did not go through that, wouldn't have been so adamant on how I raised my son. And you know, with your kids, you know what I mean? Like you would never do that.
No, I get that, and it has made me the person I am.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I think about like what it would have been like if it wasn't like that. I'd probably be a sheep just like everyone else. I think it was that made me not a sheep, because I realized authority from a young age wasn't always beneficial.
And I agree. I think maybe that's something some people need. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's something that we needed to have to be who we are.
Like God, like, do you think? I don't know if it's
just about to go there.
Like, like, is it a predestination? Like, kind of God says, well, I know this soul, and he's known you before you were even born, right? So I know what he's going to need, or she's going to need to grow. And would he be willing to put you in a situation like that to make you grow?
And yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's.
I think so. I believe so. Maybe not everybody agrees, but you know, I mean, look, Richard even knows. He says wooden spoons and meter sticks, or yardsticks if you're not Canadian. Nice.
I like Richard.
Yeah. Joe Morgan said his mom tried to initiate a swear jar one time, and it backfired when his dad walked over to it, slipped 100 in, and said, "Here's a down payment." The metric system is garbage unless you're selling drugs or work in the medical industry, said Joe.
Pretty much. Like that's, yeah.
Well, it's interesting with Canadians, though, because you guys like use a little of both. I noticed.
We do.
Yeah, just to mess with the rest of the world. You guys
it's
versatile.
We're such a weird amalgamation of America and Britain is really what we are.
And France.
And
France.
There's not as much French here as you would think. Like the French is really centralized in Quebec. Like that's where you have to be bilingual.
Okay.
Everything's written. Like there's stuff here written in French. Like all our labels have French and English, but no one speaks it. No one.
I noticed that. I thought that was I thought it was all over Canada. Really.
No.
The reason I jumped to that was because I watched this this TikTok video. This guy is Canadian, and his videos are mostly him cooking. So when he's holding the spices,
One second.
Go ahead. Instead of dead silence, I'll just tell the story. But when he's holding the spices or he's holding the packaging, it's in French, and so I know he kind of does like a little bit of French kind of accent when he jokes. Yeah. And I don't, like
I said, we do have French, like we have French words and we won't say them like an American would. We'll say them the French way, but we're not, I don't know how to explain it. It's not really like a thing at the same time. It's weird.
Well, and you guys have that poutine. I would have never known.
Don't talk bad about the poutine.
Oh, I love the poutine. I know.
Isn't it? Dude, I would like to make you poutine one time. If we're ever close and we're having a barbecue or something, I am going to cook up the best batch of poutine you ever had.
Well, we tried it. We tried it with what we had after you had told us what it was. And oh my God, Bobby and I loved it. We ate the whole pan. We had like a huge sack of frozen like steak fries or something. And I cooked the whole bag because I was like, well, I don't want to like just cook half of it. And I didn't think we finished it. We finished it all. It was so, oh my God.
I know. So I don't know how anyone could not like it.
Arwen's joking about Putin. They love Putin, Russian bots.
poutine.
But yeah, we enjoyed that. There were a few other things that that we were gonna try to put on it instead, but I didn't, like chopped
Like
onion.
yeah, people do that. They'll put meat on it and stuff like that, or
It was fun
different.
when it was.
I'm a purist when it comes to poutine.
Oh.
I just like the cheese and the gravy. Some people are even more hardcore and they'll only use curd cheese, like curds.
Yes,
That's the actual proper way. But I'll put like some cheddar and some mozza, and I find that's really nice.
Poutine. So just so everybody can see what because these pictures are amazing. These are pictures of poutine, and you're right. Most of them have curd cheese.
Mm-hmm. That's the right way.
Oh, see this lady, this person over here, maple bacon sweet potato poutine. So they put bacon. You can see,
dude, they go all crazy. There's like pierogi poutine. I don't know if you know what pierogies are.
Yeah.
There's like Montreal smoked meat poutine. Oh, that's a big one.
There's one here that's on an iron skillet.
Everyone serves it. Like every restaurant. I bet you fancy restaurants serve freaking poutine.
I like this one here. It's got a little mini Canadian flag stuck in it. That's look at that. Sorry. If I have the opportunity to look at food, I'm gonna take it.
I recommend everybody eat that. It's so good.
Oh yeah. We use the beef gravy, but
yes.
Oh,
that's what you use, beef gravy. Don't use anything else.
Joe said soggy French fries are lame, bruh. Look up
Joe
fry sauce and it'll change your life. Easy, Joe. Easy. That there's blasphemy, son.
We never even got to what we were like. I was thinking about talking about that 411.
Oh yeah,
missing 411. We never got.
Here we are, 50 minutes later. Why don't we start talking about
poutine? I could talk about poutine all day though if you want.
I know, right?
After this, I'll probably go and make some poutine.
Oh my god, we don't have any. We have potatoes and
that's gravy. Like, do you have a deep fryer?
No, everything's in boxes right now. We're in transition.
You need a deep fryer.
We're trans. That's so bad. So tell me your thoughts on the 411.
I don't know. Like, I don't have my thoughts. I think it's a really neat mystery, and there's something I don't know what's going on. Like, I really don't. There's one. I think it's Dennis. Try to look this one up. Okay. Dennis. I think it's Rader, but I could be wrong. Like, look up missing 411 and then put Dennis and see if something pops up. Let's see.
Missing 411. There's missing 411 cases. Here, let me do this. I'll share this.
Yeah, cases. It'll be in the cases for sure.
Okay.
It's one of the more famous ones. I'll kind of go through it.
All right. Here we go.
There's like a family. They're all together. A couple families. They're sitting there.
Oh,
the kids are. See it?
I see missing 411 disappearances in the wilderness. This is historicmysteries.com. Ronald Kirk in 2012 wrote this. A runner and former Marine knew the Red Rock Canyon Calico Basin area well when I have to click on the actual article.
Yeah, read it.
I'm going to skip that part. Okay, so missing 411 cases are a colloquial classification that documents missing person cases that fit a number of criteria. So they list 3 bullets. The disappearance occurred in a national park, rural area, or large reserve of public land. The second bullet says exceptionally odd circumstances surround the disappearance. And then the third bullet said mental illness or voluntary disappearances does not appear to be the cause. So they go into the term missing 411.
And now it's not just, it's mostly like national parks and rural areas, but they have cases now that are very similar, except they're happening in urban settings. But really? It's like, yeah, very strange. Like everything's pretty much the same, except you're in a different setting.
Well, this one, there's a 1981 case, 1968 case.
Dude, there's cases that go back to the 1800s, some to the 1700s. Like, this is not a new phenomenon. This has been going on for a very long time.
And the most recent one I see here is 2012. So my question is, like, sometimes you see these people, they're like hiking in the woods or finding abandoned buildings in the woods or just out in the woods, and they now with the technology age, they have their cell phones or a video camera, and you find people living out there. Like they find people just out there, or evidence that people are out there. Like, I remember one was like a weird clearing where it looked like they had a bedding set up, bunch of blankets in the middle of the clearing, and then all around it there was stuff, glass jars and stuff like that. So
we're getting a little ahead of the cart, but yeah, for sure there are people who live in the wilderness, wild men.
Right.
And there's also weird cults out there. There's for sure, and that could be something that's happening. But there's weird aspects to it where dogs won't or can't track them. They'll search an area and they won't find them at all, or they will then find something in the same area they've already searched, or they'll have things where like 2-3-year-olds travel up 2 mountains through the wilderness and are found way, 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 way far, and then have no memory of how they got there. They're not scratched up. The elements haven't hurt them. They're perfectly fine. How is that possible? And this isn't like, this is documented. They're like, it's not a conspiracy theory. There's no like ambiguity around it. Like these things happen. These are facts.
It says here, theorists also propose that a serial killer or a cult sect that hunts humans may be on the prowl. I
can't agree with that because of the way they disappear.
Yeah, when you're talking how they have no memory and stuff like that, that kind of takes away that element.
That one with that Dennis kid, he's like 3 years old, and his dad looks at him hide. They're playing hide and seek. His dad looks at him physically hide. He sees where he hides. All the kids are playing. Dennis isn't ever found. Never. The dad's seen where he was never there.
And he should have just been able to walk right over to where he went, and
he wasn't there. So how did he disappear? Where did he go? No tracks, no trail, nothing. Just gone. Like he never existed. And there's tons of people there. Like he wasn't murdered. The dad didn't like kill the kid or something and hide the body.
Was it David Paulides?
David Paulides is okay. So the deal with that guy is he's an ex-cop who stumbled onto this mystery, and he's been reporting on it. Now, some people don't think good of him, but the majority would say he's an all right guy. You know, I can't speak for him. I don't know him, but all the cases that he's presented are pretty factual, in my opinion.
Well, the Wikipedia ties his article in from Missing 411 as well as Bigfoot or Sasquatch as well.
He did do research on that. Yeah. Okay. He never comes out and says that's what he believes, though. He won't give a theory of what he thinks is happening. He just reports the cases. He doesn't want to, because he feels if he says it's something, then he'll be discredited.
Right. I was just about to say that. Strangely, it looks like there's a Missing 411 has a series of books and a movie that
the movie's terrible.
People who go missing. Wow.
There's a lot. Like it's crazy.
This is a thing. Wow.
Yeah, and like all very documented. There's like guys climbing on a rope. They're all like mountaineering or whatever, and one of the guys on the end of the rope, he disappears. But they never find a body. He doesn't fall. Like his carabiner didn't give away. He's just gone. Like, wow. So what is it? Aliens teleporting dudes, or what's
UFOs
going on?
Was mentioned in one of the articles there. UFOs and MK Ultra was mentioned in that first historicmysteries.com.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they there's a lot of theories, but it's all very like open-ended, it feels like. Like nobody knows where to hone in on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me.
And no one really wants to talk about it. Like, and a lot of times, FBI will be part of the investigation, but they're not really like, they're not helping. They're just kind of like monitoring it in a weird way. Even cases that they'd have no interest in or should have no interest in.
Probably them.
Joe. Well,
Joe said, "Oh, he's still talking about French fries." Richard said, "A lot of times we'll find the bones or remains or something in an area already searched." You just said that. You said that. Joe says,
"Yeah, like we're talking expert trackers search an area, nothing is found at all. They clear the area, come back a year later."
And there
sitting right in the middle of everything is the guy's clothes.
Right.
But no sign of him.
I think part of that article that I had pulled up where it talks about the guy that was in the Marines, said I was scrolling through it while you were talking. It said something about he was found just meters away from a popular trail. So, I mean, yeah, it's like they were placed there after or something.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Joe says everyone thinks conspiracy and everything, but rule out simple explanation. Well, that's the hard part, I think, about all that.
What would be the simplest explanation there, though?
Yeah, it's not.
There's no predation. They're not finding, like, if an animal attacked them, you'd see signs of that. If someone took them, you'd see signs of that.
Right.
What is it?
And there were some mention of like people who are abducted for rituals, and then after they're done, I guess they just dispose.
I don't know, and I'm not saying that I do know, but I just think it's one weird, creepy mystery.
Makes you not want to go out in the woods.
No, there's like one with this old man. They like to. I think it's. I can't remember. It might have been like topaz or jade or something, and they like to go and get it in the wilderness. I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but there was some kind of like stone. Maybe it's turquoise. There was some kind of stone that they were out getting, and this old man had been doing it his whole life, and now he's really old and he can't really walk and he can't do much. But they take him out just to like make him happy, kind of thing, right?
Right.
And they take them, and they're all out there together, and they, like, I guess, kind of, like, lose sight of each other, like they're kind of spreading out, but the guy can't go anywhere, and he's not going to get hurt, and they go back for him, and he's gone. And there's no, like, the dude can't walk, he's old, there's no, like, animal got him, there's no signs of that, there's no tracks. So where did he go? He just disappeared.
Maybe. I was kind of laughing because it sounds like you're eating something, and I'm like, "What are you eating?"
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you could hear. Yeah, I was.
Oh, yeah, sounds good. Joe, I'm getting the feeling Joe doesn't buy into a lot of the mystery because he said just because someone's an expert doesn't mean they don't make mistakes. Oftentimes in a search and rescue environment factors into everything. It could be rainy, snowy, etc. And for I think a lot of cases, Joe's right. I mean, search and rescue, we've seen stuff like that in the military, but I think what you're leaning toward is things that were not explainable. And
yeah, this is like stuff that goes exactly like beyond the realms of reason, and there's like, it's just, yeah, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, like, they're ruling out all the other things, mental illness, runaways, serial killers. There's no tracks. There's no like.
They have their parameters.
Animal predation. Like this isn't. There's more to. I don't know, but I'm not saying it's not possible that 90% of the disappearances are probably something very explainable, but this is like out of that realm.
Well, I think if anything, it's definitely sparked an interest for me to. I didn't even know there were books and movies about it, so I'm kind of interested to see what that's about. So, Joe says, honestly, I'm playing devil's advocate just for fun of it. Yes, I'm evil. No, I don't care. But you know what, Joe? If you didn't believe it and you weren't into that, I wouldn't mind either, because
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not mad. I'm just presenting something interesting.
Well, I was thinking about you. I sent you pictures a couple weeks ago or last week of this little dragon display at this place.
Yes.
I went down to this the basement of this place for training, and they have this display, I guess, out in the Appalachian area. And too bad Big Pig's not here either. But this thing is like called the Black Tip Dragon, and this plaque on it, it was like a plaque like you'd see in a museum. And the reason I brought it up is because it's supposed to have been an indigenous creature here in the Appalachian Mountains. And then we go into the realm of wild animals picking a person up and flying away with them. Is that a possibility? I don't know.
Maybe it is a weird cryptid. It could be.
I just read this thing, and I was just looking at this, skeleton display, and it even had like the height, and the weight was 450 pounds. And I was just like, this thing is,
There is a lot of cryptids out there, like a lot of unexplained kind of animal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess not everyone buys it, but
not everyone does. And it's hard to, because you see videos on like TikTok and YouTube, like the trail cam. Oh, you hit the wrong button. I saw you. But you see these videos with the trail cam, and then something walks across, and I always look at it and think like, that could be a person with like, they're it's got really long arms and legs, and it's walking on all fours. And I'm watching this thing walk across in the forest across this trail cam. And I don't know, I always try to debunk it, but when you see things like that, then I always think, what if it's real? Like, what if this really is, you look at this person's channel, this YouTube channel, and they don't have any other videos out there that have weird stuff. This is the only one. So why would they make one up all of a sudden? You know what I mean?
I do. I don't know. North America's giant, and I don't think that everything's been discovered. They just admitted that they don't know like something like 20% or 30% of the ocean floor. They have no idea what the heck is down there.
Oh,
it was some like huge number. There's so many undiscovered species. I think it's the same thing on land, and I think we're kind of ignorant to think we know it all.
Yeah, that's true. There's a comment here that Richard sent to you. I tried to put it up on our screen. It says,
okay, here it is.
That channel Hammerson Peters. Hammerson Peters.
All right, I'll check it out.
Okay.
I don't know what it.
Yeah, what's it about, Richard? You gotta clue us in a little bit so we know what to expect. I mean, if it's something.
What's his avatar? It looks kind of cool. I don't know what that is.
I looked it up. Oh, we're gonna highlight Richard.
You're into the spotlight, buddy.
Yeah, you're gonna be in our spotlight, Richard.
And yeah, I did hit the wrong button. I've been mousering some Starburst I found in my room. So
you're just eating all these snacks off the floor. What are you doing?
Not off the floor. There was like a big bag since Halloween of Starburst.
Oh.
And it was stashed in my room, and I just found it, and I was like, oh, that looks so good. And I I didn't know you could hear me, so I've been muting my mic so I could eat them, and then I did hit the camera. I was like, oh,
and there you are.
Scared everyone.
Well, you know, I found this thing here. I guess it's a thing here. I guess if you, not just at the grocery stores, but like mostly at the gas stations, they have this food called pizza rolls. They love it here. Did I tell you about this before?
No.
Oh my God.
Roll doesn't sound bad.
Sorry,
pepperoni rolls.
Yes.
Okay.
Like literally, people out here love this stuff, and they sell it in like a pack of 2 or 4 in a greasy bag, and you take it home, you microwave it. It's just this very soft dough, like croissant dough, rolled up with a pepperoni, maybe 5, and it's
like pigs in the blanket. You ever have that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, just with pepperonis.
But it's I don't know.
Good.
First time I saw it, I was like, "What are pepperoni rolls?" You know, and the lady's like, "Oh, we love them out here." Well, you know, this is another thing I wish Big Pig were here to see, because I don't know if they have.
I'm sending you some of our Canadian snacks, like ketchup chips and
oh God,
and all that kind of stuff, and like coffee crisp bar. Have you ever had that? I'm going to send you that as well.
You're sending me the toffees again, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I got some boxes of that for you.
Please, please send me that.
Yeah, yeah. But you got to one day send me those pepperoni rolls. I'm gonna try them.
Now that we were talking about it, I was thinking the other day. I'm like, what else can I throw in this box for you and your family? And I was like, I got to think of something goody like snack. But every time I Googled like snacks and foods that America has that Canada doesn't, you know what
Canadas.
I mean? The Canadians, the Canadas.
The Canadas.
The only thing that came up was like maybe Little Debbie. And I think I even asked you if you've ever.
We had Little Debbie's, yeah, we've had that.
Yeah, and I thought that's lame because nobody even likes Little Debbie's here.
There's tons of stuff we have you guys don't have.
Right.
Like even Kinder eggs, you can't get those, can you?
No.
No.
It drives me crazy that you guys have all this stuff that I can't.
Smarties, coffee crisp, ketchup chips, all dressed chips, pickle chips. Man, we got it all.
See, that is the thing. I was trying to find something basically that you don't have that I could, send you.
Yeah.
But I can't
imagine. It would be like fast foods that you guys have that we don't have.
Well, then maybe I'll send you a double burger. I don't know.
an old moldy burger.
It'll be squished and soggy, but whatever.
Just like Mom used to make.
Let's see. I'm looking. I was able to pull the avatar that Richard has. Richard, I hope you don't mind if I highlight you, but I'll show you what he has. It's a cool. I almost thought it was like kind of like the concept of flat Earth because it had a dome over the top, and but it has 2 faces on each side.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Let's see here. There it is. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, I see it now. It's like 2 heads. No, now you made it small.
Yeah, sorry. Here we go. I can get.
And there's like a pyramid, mountain, some space.
And there's
that looks cool.
Daylight on one side and looks like evening on the other, and then it's almost
kind of like a yin yang thing going on.
Little bit.
Yeah, with the day and night.
Stars.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the 2 faces are very different, though. But Richard, you'll have to explain to us what's going on here. But it's cool.
I like it. I like it.
So, anyways, that's Richard. Let me see. He said, "Oh, that's my picture." And he laughed. Oh yeah, that's my selfie. That's probably the selfie he took last week.
Maybe he made that. Maybe that's already made.
Oh, if it is, Richard, you'll have to let us know.
Could be.
All right. What else? We're at 1 hour and 14 minutes.
I don't know.
Are you done eating all the shit out from under your bed?
There's still lots left. I can't eat all those out of the stomachache.
You know what's funny is like I remember visiting my mom one year when I was like 19, and I didn't like any of the food she had in the house because she would basically like take stuff from when she worked at the casino, she would take stuff home from the buffet and just reheat it, or
Yeah.
just and my at the time
Buffet.
my ex and I would sneak off to Krispy Kreme and buy a box of Krispy Kreme donuts and slide it under the bed and eat it when she was asleep because we hated her food. It was terrible.
We don't have Krispy Kreme.
You know, I don't think we do here either. We do in America, but not here.
We have Tim Hortons. That's the big.
I have heard of Tim Hortons.
Everybody loves Tim Hortons. Like if you don't go to Tim Hortons, are you even Canadian?
Is it Dunkin' Donuts? Is it a coffee place?
Yeah, like it's a coffee shop, but they sell like coffee, specialty coffees. They sell donuts, sandwiches, like stuff like that.
Well, it's exclusively Canadian because it looks like
no. There are a few in America, but
really?
It is a Canadian company. Yeah, except then it was bought recently by Burger King. Whoever owns Burger King bought so it's actually owned by them now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's still in Canada. Yeah.
Look at this. Oh, it's
but it is. Dude, Tim Hortons is so good. I like it.
For $1 latte. Oh, and they got peppermint, and they got, what's this? Timbits Tuesday.
You know what Timbits are?
I'm about to find out.
They're called donut holes, right?
Oh God. Yes.
It's like the center of the donut, kind of. It's supposed to be. Yeah. So they're all flavored different. Oh, they're very good. Very addictive.
Look at all these. You can get a free medium cold drink.
Mm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they have like
oatmeal. Brown butter caramel. Gee, I think I'm gonna move to Canada, dude. I gotta work on my Canadian accent, eh?
Depends where you go.
Right.
Tim Hortons is pretty good. They have good sandwiches, like decent. Like it's still you'd consider, I guess, fast food, but like the sandwiches are pretty good. You get a roast beef sandwich or something. They heat it up in the oven. It's pretty good.
I can't even look at the menu unless I put in an address. Oh, let's go to.
Oh, because they want to know which one is your store, probably.
Oh,
they're weird like that.
Well,
yeah, just say that one.
There's Toronto. Maybe I can just
say you're a Toronto.
I'll just put Toronto.
They're like, no.
Let's see. Toronto, Ohio? Really?
I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a Toronto, Ohio.
The only places it gives me is Toronto, Kansas, Ohio. There's all these other places. They're all in the U.S. What is it? South Dakota, Iowa, Illinois. Okay, this sucks. Anyways, Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
Definitely am a fan, but
you need $1 million to get a franchise of those guys.
Really?
Yeah, that's the buy-in.
That's interesting because my son was just talking about buying into a franchise. I won't say which one. I'll just say it's in the pizza industry, and awesome. It was only $5,000.
5,000?
Yes, that's with, I guess, licensing and stuff like that.
That seems insanely cheap. Yeah, like that's doable. But $1 million to buy in, that's, to me, is like, because I think they need you to buy like a building, and you have to have it built a certain way, and because all the Tim Hortons are kind of the same,
Oh, they've got like a theme requirement. This one in particular, it's more of a, because it's pizza, you could kind of like insert it in a mini mall. So you kind of the building has to conform to the mini mall, not the store. And you just put a sign. And in his case, the one he's looking at is already of that franchise. But I guess the owner doesn't want it anymore, and he wants.
So that's just the buyout. That's why not? And now you're working for yourself, man. That's
at 20.
Sort of, like your own little business. It's a franchise, but still, it's still a decent little job to have.
I told him he should do it. I mean, he's already kind of done all the homework on it. So I don't know. We'll see. Um, Arwen said that's gravity, the hold in a donut. He said it twice, and they're just kind of laughing on it. But yeah. Well,
you'd love them. Oh, I'm telling you guys, you'd all love those.
Oh, I wish there was one here.
I would send them, but they would be so stale by the time they got there.
No, it wouldn't be the same because I would want the coffee with it. You know, the whole shebang. It's the experience. I'm the experience type of person. I like to go in and smell it. You know what I mean? Oh yeah.
Just start smelling the staff.
Yes.
Don't worry, I'm American.
I have not done that before. I have walked up to somebody at a restaurant and been like, I've sniffed the shoulder and been like, you smell amazing. Ask my husband. I will say shit like that to people. I do not care. If you
I had a weird experience. There's this, so there's a famous theater in Canada. It's like, or in Canada, in the city that's closest to me, right? It's
in Canada. You're right.
It's in, yeah. Anyways, right beside it is this tavern. And a lot of people will go there to this tavern before they see a show inside the theater, right?
Right.
And like I've seen comedians there, I've seen rock bands there. April Wine's gonna play there. Like it's a cool little place. But I was in this tavern, and when there's a show, it gets full in there. Like I'm talking, everyone's at the bar. There's all the tables are full. Everyone's like shoulder to shoulder. It's packed. And I wanted to eat. Yeah. So me and my group were eating, and I ordered this like, I don't know, some kind of specialty grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh.
And it was super good, dude. And out of the whole crowd, this big tall hippie with like, the braids, the whole thing, the big beard. He looked like Jesus with braids. And he like parted the crowd, and he's like, "Oh, that smells so good. What is it?" It was my sandwich, and he was all like, "Oh, it smells good. I'm gonna get it." And he was all weird about it, dude. And like he came through the whole crowd. Like, how did he smell the sandwich?
You said he looked like Jesus in the crowd.
Dude,
Red Sea.
Oh, it was the craziest. Oh, it was so weird. It was such an experience.
Dude, not kidding. We've heard from people that used to be chef, right? And one guy mentioned that when he was cooking at a restaurant in the morning, he would fry a bunch of bacon to lure in the people, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then in the evening, you fry a bunch of onions, and that smell brings in the people.
I do love the smell of fried onion.
Oh, dude. And I've seen shows like, Food Network stuff where they talk about these restaurants along the boardwalk, like in Santa Cruz and stuff. At the ice cream shop, they would grill their own waffle cones. And that sweet smell of the waffle cones grilling would bring people in. Yeah.
I think its scent is like one of the most powerful senses we have for bringing back memories and stuff like that. It is really.
You can think that you're hungry when you're really not. It's just that you're smelling the food, and you get that craving. Craving is the hardest thing for out of everything that you do in your life. If you have a craving for something, it's hard to tell your body no. I mean,
yeah.
So, yeah.
No doubt.
I'm craving something right now. So.
Me too. Poutine.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna start dinner, dude.
Okay. Well, this was a fun one.
This was a fun one. Arwen was here. Richard, Joe, of course. Joe. We didn't get to see Big Pig.
Just a small group, but
yeah, that's all right. It's a quiet Sunday.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll try to do it again next week. If we don't, we'll at least post something, let you guys know what's going on. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Later, bro.
Hey, can you stop the live and then